is hot. We got in the truck after we were doing the grading earlier, and we got in the truck before we went to lunch, after we had loaded it up, and I'd be doggone if it weren't 104 degrees on that thing. Now it cooled off once we started once we started driving down the road, but still it was over 104 degrees in the sun. So needless to say, I'm running the daggone air conditioning right now, because it is freaking scorching hot. So what we got going, I don't know if you can see, we used the mini skid with the power rake, and we're peeling back this edge here because he can't mow that side with his ride mower. So we're making that more gradual, so it's kind of like this side. But you can see all the grass, the side that it was pulling up from that. And so we decided it would probably be better to do this with the excavator. Ditch off. All the power lines and utility lines and all that stuff are overhead. And I've got the grading bucket, which actually probably will work better on this. But this stuff's so heavy, and I'm going across this ditch to load it into the dump trailer. I'm just going to push it over as far as I can. I don't want to pick it up with this smaller bucket and I can reach out further with it. I'm going to peel out the rest of this side here where we started, so that we can get it real good with the power rake and have a good finish on it. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of that, what I can, off to make it so that he can use his riding mower to mow this, instead of what he's having to do is switch to the push mower to do it. So he does it every other week, and then certain parts of the property he's only doing, every 3 or 4 weeks. Because it's, he can only do it with a string trimmer. So I'm just going to push this over as far as I can with the blade, and I got a little bit of video footage of the first one. I didn't really video the second one. The camera I've got in here now wasn't charged, and my son was over here working on this part, so he couldn't film me like he did on the first shed we took out. I know I'm going to get some grief because lumber's expensive, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, it is, but so is labor, and so is, the time it takes to go through and take apart a building by hand, So I said something about that on the voiceover part of it, but I know there will still be people that are commenting, you should have saved the lumber, relocate the building, sell it, yada, yada, yada. By the time I find somebody to buy it and all that garbage, it's just not worth my time. It really isn't. So I have to make a business decision talented operator at all. And you know, I've had some actually outright just rude comments from people with small appendages, probably. They got nothing better to do to sit around and to say bad stuff to people online. I don't understand it. You really don't have a life if you're just going on and criticizing what everybody else is doing on YouTube and ain't got a YouTube channel yourself. I really don't care. I don't lose a bit of sleep over any of that. My self-worth isn't determined by any of these people that say anything bad to me. So it really doesn't hurt my feelings one bit at all. Let's go ahead and strip this up. Just share what we're doing primarily for, you know, prospective customers, so they can get a look at what we got going on and learn a little bit more about us and what we do, and you know, maybe get some ideas. And if there's some other guys out there that do this sort of thing, and you know, we can all share and get ideas from each other, then all the more power to us. You know what I'm saying? I just don't have a lot of room for the people that just want to be rude and make bad comments. All the haters are they're on every channel. I think that somebody's got a YouTube channel, but I don't care. Not COVID. So we're going to reseed this. This stuff was literally just bogging down that power rake on that mini skid, so it didn't make a whole lot of sense to that instead of using this. I think I got enough reach here. This off. I was going to try to power rake all the dirt and stuff out of it and just separate the grass. For the most part, I do have a lot of the dirt out. I'm shaking it loose as I can, but this is mostly, he had a thick side right there, but it digs out up there anyway because of the steepness of it. So we're just going to reseed this, and we're going to do straw mats on this because it's on the ditch. But you know, with the buildings, it just wasn't worth our time to do it. The customer wasn't going to pay us any extra to disassemble it by hand, and the time it would have taken us to take it apart by hand and all that sort of thing. We weren't going to find somebody who wanted to pay what it was going to be worth. So I hated to do it. Actually, I did after I took the first shed down. I realized it wasn't anchored down at all. And so if I had it to do over, I would have lifted that up and put it on my equipment trailer and taken that back to the house and made a new chicken coop out of it. But by the time I had already put the bucket through the roof, I realized it wasn't anchored down, and oh well. It literally cost me, what did I pay? About $80 to dump both the sheds. And you may be saying, well, you know, your labor cost shouldn't be that high. Well, great. I'm proud for you that you don't have high labor costs, but I include my overhead as part of the work. And, you know, like I said, I don't claim to be the best operator. I don't, I know I'm not. I know I got a lot to learn, and I know I'll get better as I keep going. But, you know, the reality is, I got a lot more talent in business than I do in operating a machine. That's for sure. You know, business and marketing, I mean, that's what I first agreed with them. And, you know, I kind of put that to use regularly. But, you know, the reality is, I'm really watch our job costing with every job. We record every expense to a job that we can, and it's a pain because sometimes I'm going through Lowe's or Home Depot, or I'm going through, you know, somewhere else, and I've got separate jobs, and or I've got items, some that are going to go for us and some that are going to go for the job, and I'll take the time to ring them out separately just to make my life easy and my wife's life easy, because she does our bookkeeping. And we make sure that we can attribute everything that we do to a job. How that thing gets turned every now and then. And I've just found that if I can do that, then I can go back and look at each job and see, was it profitable? This is the price we bid. This is the work we did. This is how much we charged. And you know, a lot of times I try to throw in extra work, or sometimes it just, you know, extra work just happens as a course of it. And sometimes I don't always bill for it, but I can look at it and see, okay, we did this extra work, and it almost cost us our profit. And that's why I've ranted before that guys need to understand their numbers, because so many guys get into doing stuff like this and they don't understand. Chris on Let's Dig 18 just did an excellent interview talking about the cost of upkeep and maintenance on this equipment. And yeah, I'll be honest with you, I had the ability to buy this machine brand new. I think we took delivery of probably the first SV40 when they came out. But with that said, my reasoning for that was, number one, I could get the financing on it. And I'm smart enough to know that sometimes it's good to hold on to your own money and use somebody else's money if you can. And I know some people are just like, nope, if I can't buy it myself, I'm not going to get it. and that's fine. I'm not knocking that, but I deduct my interest expense on my loan. I can't deduct the principal that we pay, but I deduct the interest expense, and then I take depreciation, and we use straight line depreciation on this, and so I'm getting the depreciation write-off, I'm getting an expense write-off, so that's kind of offsetting my expenses, and then I'm not really worried about, I've got maintenance, but I'm not worried about it breaking down because I've got a 5-year warranty on this thing, and I think after the first 2 years I have to take it in and they do a little check on it to make sure that we're doing all the maintenance on it like we're supposed to, and changing the filters and so forth. And after they check off on that, then they'll give me a 3rd year, and then I think I pretty much have to go in every year after that. Wrapping it up on day 2. That's where the shed was yesterday we took down. So there was a huge dirt pile there. Loaded that up and hauled it off today, and then graded it all out and put seed and straw, and then we took some of the dirt from there and put it where that was level and kind of got the grade so it would flowing down the hill. Right here was the problem area they had before, where the water would just sit here. It would come off the patio and it would just sit here because there was a high spot right there. So we cut a swale here all the way down to the fence, and we did we mounted that up so there's a swale, so all the water coming off the hill no longer cuts down by the gate down that direction. See, it used to just come down and everything would go down that gate, and it was washing out under the gate and everything. So now everything coming down from the hill is going to hit the swale and go down there and go under the fence to the ditch over there. This was a tree and some flowers and some other bushes and stuff, and we took those out for the homeowner and graded that all out nice and level. And it's a little bumpy with the straw mat, but we're getting some rain tonight, so that'll stick that down. And so we graded all of that with a power rake and smoothed it all out all the way down through here, so it's no longer lumpy and bumpy for the homeowner, so he'll be able to have a nice smooth ride on his riding lawnmower. Took a little bit of a hump out right here so it'll flow down that way, and it's also coming this way so it'll hit the swell and going down. So now the only water going by the gate is just the stuff coming from right here next to the house and whatever's right here on this hill, and then everything else will run to here and on down and around to the drainage ditch. So, and that's the down here at the end where you see that little tree right there, that's where the shed was that we took down in the first video. And yeah, this was a 3-day job and we condensed it into 2. So it is late and we are pooped because we had to beat this storm that's coming up the coast, and it's going to give us a lot of rain here. So we wanted to have all this graded and had the seed and the straw down. I've got straw mat right there in the swell where the water will be running, so it'll catch that and not get washed out And then on the other side, the homeowner was having to mow this ditch using a push mower, and so we cut this back and made it a gentle slope right there. So this stretch from where I'm at here roughly up to where the straw ends, you can do with a riding mower very easily. And there we did a straw mat in the ditch again, and straw over there. So that's a wrap.